All right, we have our book Ready, Set, Snow, and we are on chapter 3. You what? That night at dinner, my mom asked, "So anything interesting happened at school today?" Freddie made a bet, my sister Susie blurted out. I stared at her. What? I asked, trying to sound as if I had no idea what she was even talking about. Freddie made a bet with Max Sellers. Why did you make a bet with Max Sellers? Asked my mom. Who said I made a bet with Max? Julie, that brown haired girl in your class, told me today after school. Boy, news sure travels fast. Why did Julie have to blab to my sister? So, Freddie, is this true? Said my dad. Did you make a bet with Max? It's a simple question, yes or no. Did you make a bet? Yes, I mumbled. What's the bet? I bet that I could beat him in the snowshoe race in the first grade Winter Olympics. Oh, Susie laughed hysterically. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard in all my life. What's so funny about it? You've never even been on snowshoes. So you expect to race the biggest, toughest kid in first grade and win when you don't even know how to put the snowshoes on? Ha! She was laughing so hard I thought she was going to fall out of her chair. Stop laughing. But it's so funny. Oh, be quiet, brat. Stop it. All right, enough, you two, said my dad. Susie, you need to stop laughing at your brother. And Freddie, you need to start from the beginning and tell us what this is all about. Well, I began, the first grade Winter Olympics is on Friday. What's that? Asked my mom. Don't you remember, Mom? I said. Susie did it when she was in Mrs. Wishy's class. Yeah, said Susie. Room 3 and room 4 compete against each other in some silly snow games, and whichever class wins the most events wins the trophy. Oh, yes, I remember now, said my dad. When you were in Mrs. Wishy's class, you did the snowball stacking game. Yeah. How many snowballs did you stack before they fell over? I stacked 11 snowballs. Wow, I said, that's a lot. I thought for sure I was going to win, but then Danny Klein from room 4 stacked 12 and he won. So, Freddie, said my mom, why didn't you sign up for the snowball stacking? I'm sure Susie would have helped you practice that. I was going to, but then Max started teasing me at lunch. It seems like that's all that boy ever does, said my mom. You can say that again, I said. Anyway, he kept laughing at me and calling me a wimp. Why don't you just ignore him, honey? I was trying to, but Jesse was really mad that he kept teasing me. And when he bragged that he was better at snowshoeing than I was, Jesse told him I could beat him any day. I tried to tell her that I have never even been on snowshoes, but she just kept right on teasing. So, now what are you going to do? I don't have a choice. I have to learn how to snowshoe in 3 days. And I'll never be able to I'll never be able to show my face at school again. How are you going to do that, genius? Said Susie. You don't even own a pair of snowshoes. Robbie said I could borrow his, and he and Jessie are going to come over after school tomorrow and teach me. That's very nice of them to do that. Ugh, I groaned, putting my face in my hands. I'm never going to be able to learn in 3 days. And just then my elbow slipped and my face fell in my plate. Again, Susie started laughing hysterically. And again, my mom rushed over and pulled my head out of my plate. Oh my goodness, Freddie, look at you. My face was covered in mashed potatoes and gravy, and there were little pieces of corn stuck in my hair. Stay right there, don't move. I'm going to get something to wash you off. I scraped some of the mashed potatoes off my cheek and licked my fingers. It still tastes pretty good. Ew, that's gross, Susie whined. What's gross? Said my mom as she returned to the table carrying a sponge and paper towels. Freddie just ate some mashed potatoes off his face. Freddie, where are your manners? That's disgusting. You do not eat food off your face. Now look at me so I can wipe you off. My mom wiped the gravy and potatoes off my face and pulled the corn kernels out of my hair. That's good for now, but you'll have to take an extra long bath tonight. Oh, Mom, I groaned. You know I hate taking baths. Too bad, mister. That's what happens when you decide to wear your food. Please try to be careful next time. Yes, Mom. So Freddie, said my dad. Don't be so upset. Don't be so upset. Don't be so upset, I shouted. The biggest bully in the whole first grade is going to kick my behind in front of the class, and you're telling me not to be upset? Oh, calm down. There's no need to yell. Your friends said they would teach you how to snowshoe, but I only have 3 days. There's no way I can learn in just 3 days. Remember when you had to learn to ride a two-wheeler in a week and you never thought you'd be able to do that? Yeah, well, you did, didn't you? And not only did you learn to ride, you rode more laps than Max that day. I guess so. You can learn anything as long as you set your mind to it. I don't know, Dad, I said, shaking my head. I just don't know. Chapter 4 we start next time is called Training. So he has his 3 days to learn how.